If you want to become successful, you have to take action every single day. So, how do you take action on something every single day if you have a job that you go to every day already and you're exhausted at the end of your 12-hour workday, at the end of your 5-day week? This is not that uncommon. In fact, in a city close by to me, I think it's pretty regular that people put in 12-hour days, 5 days a week. They come home to a cramped little studio apartment. They're exhausted. There could be a baby at home who's crying as soon as they walk through the door. That's not uncommon for my generation. And how you overcome all of these issues is whatever goal you decide for yourself. First of all, you have to self-reflect and understand what is the most important goal to you, like what is in your heart, what is going to move you forward in life, because we might have these artificial goals in our mind, like I should save for retirement, and that's good. I'm not saying that's bad, but the problem with those goals sometimes is that it doesn't truly come from your heart. And if it doesn't truly come from your heart, it's very hard to work on something that you don't feel passionate about. That's why that advice of doing your passion can be so helpful. Of course, there's no absolute guaranteed route to success when you follow your passion. But what is guaranteed success is that your passion will continually move you forward. So you need to pick something that's in your heart. If you really are genuinely concerned about retirement, maybe that goal does work for you. Maybe it's coming up soon. Or another goal could be your physical health. Maybe you haven't gone running in a long time and you're easily running out of breath. Could be physically you don't have much muscle and you need to bulk up in order to have the strength to do things in your life that are important to you. Could be hobbies, or it could be day-to-day things you do in your work. You might also want to start your own business. It may be time that you're tired of your job. You need to move forward and work on something that you're truly passionate about. And you can also keep your job. If you love your job, then you're very blessed. You could have both. But depending on what situation you're in, a lot of people have bosses that stress them out and give them a hard time, especially now in these economically difficult times. Bosses are more likely to switch, and they're more likely to be very hard on you when you don't know them that well. And so you have to have a backup plan. And how do you do that? It's by working towards that goal every single day. And you got to decide what's most important to you. Don't pick more than like 2 or 3 to work on at once. You could have your health and fitness goal, your private business goal, and your social goals if you need to meet new friends or meet a new partner. But beyond 3, that can be a lot to integrate little activities in the day. I am learning languages right now. I'm working on French and Chinese because those 2 languages are important to people I care about in my life. And so learning French and Chinese has been a journey. You know, it's allowed me to think in different ways about things. And that ability to flex your mind and imagine something different in your life is an important skill to have. It may appear like a skill is not that important, but it could actually be something that moves you forward. You have to think about it and reflect on it in your heart, what your true priorities are and what is important to you. And so how do you actually achieve your goals every day? Well, here's the secret. You don't necessarily have to take it on like a second full-time job that you do at night. Although if you do that, that's amazing and you'll probably reach your goals very, very fast. But for a lot of people, that sounds very intimidating, and that's understandable. So the better goal to set up at the beginning is that you spend 10 minutes a day on each goal that you're working on, and longer whenever possible. So whenever you've got an hour to work on it, do the hour, but make sure you don't miss a day, 10 minutes a day. And that can include things like Christmas. It can include things like vacations. Make sure you get it in every single day. And if you have a bad day and you don't get it in, just get yourself back on track as soon as possible. Spend an hour and get yourself back up to speed to where you were before you took the break to get back into it. But be aware that people who are professional, who are athletes, train on days like Christmas Day. It may not be for very long, but you also want to be aware that it's very important to keep up your discipline and your work on something. And having a little bit each day, I would say trumps like working really hard for a week and then leaving it for a month. You want to make sure you're constantly paying attention to this area of your life that's important to you, and that you're rebuilding your skill and you're relearning everything that you need to learn each day. If you want to start a business, find people that you look up to and see what they're doing to promote their business. And then you can have ideas like, hey, I could do this to promote my book. I could do that. I could write a news article. I could call a magazine. You don't want to overwhelm yourself with too many things at the same time. Pick the things that are really calling to you, that are really important, or are really going to move you forward quickly, and do those things first. That's another key thing. The things that are very important to you, wake up early and do them in the morning if possible. And if you really can't, something urgent's come up, as soon as you're done that urgent thing in the afternoon, get to it in the afternoon or the evening. But you don't want to leave it too late at night, or else you're sacrificing your sleep. Although occasionally I've done that. Sometimes I've started at 9:30 or 9 o'clock because that was the earliest I could get to it. It's better than 0, but earlier in the day is so much better. You feel so good that you've made your progress, that you've learned whatever it is you need to learn and grow. And I've also learned Excel this year. I've learned about AI. Like, it's been a very intense year of learning to make sure I understand all the new technologies and the new tools, the new languages, on top of all the social media work that I typically do and the writing. But all of these things build up and they create a future for you. They outpicture to something that's amazing. And if you trust that and you show up every single day and you have discipline to develop yourself and improve on your skills year after year, you're going to be the person who overtakes the next person. If you're simply working extremely hard on your current responsibilities, but you're not paying attention to what's coming down the line, like AI, and where is that going to go in the future, none of us are going to guess it 100% right. We don't really know 100% what will happen. But we need to take our best educated guess and start flexing towards that future that we think is going to happen. That's where intuition and sensitivity is such a huge advantage, because you can get a feeling for what's coming down the line. My feeling about AI right now, there are things you need to be aware of and you need to learn AI. I think that's very important. On the other hand, there's a lot of fear around AI, and I think the fear could be excessive. I think companies are experimenting with it right now and they're learning the ropes of AI, and pretty soon we're gonna learn what it can do really well and what it doesn't do really well. I think we'll have a better sense of its parameters soon, and when we do, there's probably gonna be a stock market crash associated with it, because people have such a euphoria and such a high for AI right now, and I think eventually it's gonna come down. But there will be some things that stick with AI, just like the .com bubble. There are things about .com websites that have definitely stuck. They are definitely a thing, but they didn't turn out to be exactly what we thought they were going to be in the year 2000. So you have to be aware of these things, that things come and go, things get to be exciting for a while and then they crash, and then we have to pick up the pieces and figure out where to go after. And that's sort of where we're at right now with AI. And it doesn't mean you have to be scared or intimidated, but it does mean you should be working on it a little bit each day. If it's your passion, if you really don't like it, it's really not your thing, then leave it alone. But if you think you can tackle it a little bit each day, I really recommend it, because it's going to be a thing in the future.